Hello, Vipkid teachers. My name is Teacher Cindy, and I'm with Vipkid, and I just want to make a video about should we contact the fireman when um, we enter the classroom and we don't see the student, and what should we do? So I've done it a few different ways. I just wanted to share what I think works. When I've been with Vipkid probably about 8 months now. And when I first, well, no, it's more than that. I'm almost to my 1 year contract. So I've done a few different ways. And when I first started, I saw people say that you should definitely contact the fireman right away. If your student isn't there, press the fireman button, and then you'll see if the fireman will do something about it. I was always concerned about like technical problems, and so at first I would contact the fireman right away. I can't see student is what I would put in. And sometimes at that time, the firemen would usually respond. Then through a few months went by, and I think things changed. I remember getting I think when the start button came, then we would start the class, at the beginning of the time, and then that was going to be the time for the class, and then end at the ending time, and that was it. So at that point, I thought that I got an email that said, do not always contact the firemen. So I figured, in my mind, I was figuring that Vipkid was sending the parents reminders and they were leaving it up to the parents to come to the class or not. Because I can imagine that would get kind of tedious for the firemen if every time somebody's 1 minute late, they have to call the parent if they've already sent a reminder. So I figured that was kind of a penalty for the family, that if they didn't get there or something happened, then they lose, their class. So for a while there, I did not contact the firemen. And there was about a month or so goes by, and then I see people starting to say, yes, I contact the firemen. And so what I've done now that seems to be working for me is I will sign into the class exactly at the right time, and then I will wait. I'll wait a minute. If I know it's a regular and they're usually there, I might wait a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And then I will press the fireman button and I will type in student is not here, or do not see student. Because I've seen where they can be in one classroom and maybe the student is in another classroom. So if you don't contact the firemen, you're not going to have that opportunity to find what's going on. Now, if the fireman does not respond to you, at least you have that documented in the chat box that you made that effort. And you can also take a screenshot, like type in the chat box, take a screenshot of your message of your class to make sure that you have it documented that you were there. So I have had students that, maybe they are traveling and they're trying to sign on and they can't get to it right. It's not working the same as it always usually does. And there can be some technical difficulties. It might not be just that they forgot, There may be something that's happening that's preventing them to get into the class. So this is what I do. I will sign on to the class. I use an iPad, so it goes right into the class very quickly. So I usually between 10 and 5 seconds left to the timer to when this class is going to start. I will press the start button, enter the class. Well, let me back up. Because usually what I do is I like to play a song. I have a certain song that I play, and I feel like I play the same one every time. So then when they sign on, they kind of know it's me. And they're going to know it's me anyway, but it makes them happy. It's a happy music, and I do the same one every time. So that's what I'll do at about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then when the timer is at about 10 seconds, I press the start button or the camera. It just seems to be different times. I don't think it's exactly the same every time when I sign in. And so at that moment, I will either see the student and I'll be able to assess the situation. If they are not there, I will wait 1 minute to 2 minutes. Then I will contact firemen. I will say, cannot see student. I will type in the chat box, I cannot see student. Student is not present, something like that. I will take a screenshot. Then I will wait a couple more minutes, and sometimes the firemen will contact me and say, you know, student is late. Please wait in the classroom for the full 25 minutes. Or, you know, sometimes they've contacted the family and they're having technical difficulties. And so they might give me a message about that. If it says the generic, you know, contacting student, please wait the 25 minutes, then I think of something to do. Because it might be that the student doesn't show up. But I have had a student who is a regular, and he was having trouble with his computer, and he didn't show up until like 15 minutes. And he was actually in tears. He was so upset. You could tell that, you know, he forgot and just something happened. And he was an older student. I think he's 11. And he was just so upset because he's usually very responsible, very, just a really good kid. And so I had to sort of calm him down a little bit, you know, because he was in tears. And I was really glad that I got feedback from his mom that it's okay, you know, that it's okay, it was just an accident. So I was glad everything was okay with him. But, you know, things happen, and we can't assume that, you know, the parents are just being irresponsible or, you know, they just forgot. Things happen. This same student, he canceled his class during the summer at some point within the 24 hours. So I got paid for it. I'm like, yeah. Then I see him the next class, and he said that he had to cancel his class because his grandfather died. So, you know, just like things happen for us, things happen for them. And so we do need to be mindful of that and be professional about it. And, you know, keep a good relationship with the family, keep a good relationship with the firemen, and you know, just take that free time as free time, you know, and just roll with it, because that's how it works with this job. You know, we're going to have student no-shows, we're going to have IT problems, and we need to have a plan of what we're going to do in each situation. So thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful to some people, and happy teaching. Bye-bye.